We see images circulate from political figures every single day, and while every one of them poses a question, or five, such as, who took this? Why are they there? What is this speech on? What viewpoint do these images represent? What is this image trying to argue? We ask these questions about very basic photos, but what about images that invite us to question what political figures are doing in their personal lives? So what about their health and well-being? Today, we're looking at how health issues get covered up, edited out, or disguised in images, and specifically, how that makes us think and why that matters for looking at pictures from political figures. In the United States, regardless of where you align, social media makes it incredibly easy to stay up to date with the current administration, and more specifically, with the ongoings of the individual's personal lives. Being a political leader puts you in front of a camera 24/7, and it's very hard to hide.
The circulation of conspiracy theories and questions regarding the health of current presidents feels like a newer concept. With the current Trump presidency, it feels as though we are witnessing a new discussion of health and related conversations. This discussion is not new, however. With the age of our current office holders growing seemingly older and older, the argument around whether or not they are fit to hold office is brought up pretty consistently. In a New York Times article from 2024, authors David Ledenhart and Ian Prasad Philbrick discussed how medical cover-ups for the president have been going on since the presidency was created. They discussed how presidential administrations have covered up health scares and procedures done on multiple presidents in order to keep up the facade of them being mentally and physically healthy and fit to serve us citizens in the highest government role. So take a look at the images in front of you. Upon first glance, you see a man stepping off of Air Force One, waving his hat in the air and exposing the half-shaved head underneath. This is a photo of former President Ronald Reagan exiting Air Force One not long after having surgery on his skull. You can see the shock on Nancy Reagan's face and the instinct to cover the shaved side of his head with her hand, ironically trying to do the opposite of what this photo is infamous for, Reagan's honesty. The smile on the president's face and the dramatic waving of the cap in the air showed a sense of honesty to the audience and, more importantly, to the American people. This honesty and transparency kept the American public in the loop and prevented assumptions and conspiracy theories, at least as much as you can. Later on, though, while Reagan was honest about him needing skull surgery, his administration and he himself still got into a bit of heat for hiding the severity of Reagan's gunshot wound from his assassination attempt, as well as hiding his declining mental status due to his early onset dementia. His administration covered up these health issues and procedures due to feeling as though citizens would not take these health issues lightly and feel as though he should not have been president. So while he was initially honest about one health procedure, he still did what he was best known for in the end, being dishonest and covering up crucial information.
Now, look at this image. Clearly bruised hands, caked with makeup, and specifically, a terrible color match. The attempted cover-up, quite literally in this case with concealer, shows the administration's attempt at avoiding any and all questions. These terribly covered hands belong to current President Donald Trump. In the past few years, questions and concerns about Trump's health have started popping up more and more, while more and more images pop up as well. Images showing his face drooping, representing signs of a stroke, as well as his bruised hands and swollen legs. But while Reagan showed his health situations with pride, Trump avoids the conversation at any and all costs. So while looking at these images of Trump's hands, why does it matter that he decided to have someone slather concealer on his hands, or avoid the questions about his face drooping? The reason that these matter is because of transparency and honesty within the U.S. public. We are currently situated in a political environment that is hostile, to say the least, and a majority of Americans are concerned about the Trump administration and his personal actions. So when these images start to circulate, it feels like there may be something going on beneath the surface, or in this case, the makeup, that we are destined to overanalyze and search for what these images can tell us. Does he have a disease that he's not disclosing? Did he have a stroke? Is he getting towards the end of his life? And will we be moving on to the vice president soon? They raise concerned questions, and when not answered, we're more than likely to jump to conclusions and worst-case scenarios. So like I mentioned previously, it doesn't matter where you stand politically. At the end of the day, we are all inundated with images from political figures, and especially from the current administration. And after all, this is how we get our information about what's going on. This is how we know what's going on within the president's lives. The way that we respond to these images is a perfect example, though, of why images matter and why they are so important. We always have the underlying idea that politicians are sneaky and lying to us 24/7. So when we feel like we can't rely on them to give us information, we rely on the images instead. American citizens are constantly having to fact check and overlook the images that they see. American citizens are constantly having to fact check and look over the images that they see every day, solely so that we feel like we have a better idea of what's going on behind the scenes and feel as though somebody is giving us some sort of information. So our question for you is, what do you think that the administration is covering up with these images? And why do you think we rely so much on these images to give us information?